Hi, hope you guys are doing well. So today we will be looking at the bevel modifier. There's another thing that I want to tell you about modifiers. The modifiers basically work in a stack. So let me just add in another modifier like the subdivision surface modifier, and as you observe that the bevel modifier is above the subdivision surface modifier, and I'm getting a result like this. But if I click over here and start moving the subsurface modifier above it, okay, so this way the result is actually different. So it actually matters where the position of your modifiers is. If one is above the other, it can result in a different result. So the bevel modifier, now it actually does exactly the same way the bevel command does, and actually even a few more things. So by default it actually affects the whole mesh. Okay, you can see that it's affecting the entire cube. You can make it so that it only affects a certain point of the bevel. Basically, if you remember that we could only bevel a certain edges or vertices before we continue, please consider subscribing. Only 9% of you are actually subscribed. My goal is to reach 2.5k subs by the end of this year, and drop a like and a comment while you're at it. So let me just show you how to do that first. If any modifier actually has the command of vertex group or the space for a vertex group, that means our vertex groups can be used. That means a certain effect of the modifier will only affect a certain area. So to create a vertex group, the first thing I'm going to go is tab to edit mode and click plus over here, and I'm just going to select these two vertices over here, and then while my weight is 1, I'm going to click on assign. This way now these two vertices have 100 weight and everything else other vertices have 0 weight. So now when I go over here in the vertex group tab and then click on group, the same group we create over here, I'll just call it G1 just for you guys to make sure, and you can actually see that this G1 group is the one. And now you can see that the weight is only bevel modifier is only affecting over here. Let me just make it a little bit more obvious. And if I start increasing the segments, you can actually see by default it's only one segment, okay, but if I start creating more, then there are more segments being created. So you can obviously increase the amount of the bevel by changing this value over here, and you can increase the segments by changing this value over here. I'll just leave it to 15 for now, I guess. And you can obviously change the bit type from offset to width, and to get slightly different results, to depth, to maybe percentage. Again, percentage could also, you have to increase the value. Then there's also the absolute one, where again it actually goes on the meters one. So if I start lowering this, you can see this isn't working because it actually is working, but the thing is the whole cube is only 2 meters wide. So if I actually have the value to above 2 meters, it actually looks like it isn't changing anything. But if I go lower from 2 meters, you can see that now it's starting to affect it. So you can use the vertex group obviously to affect a certain area, and then there are the other options as well. The shading one, the harden normals one, actually works well. It's basically shade auto smooth, I think. The seams one, well, if you actually know how seams work, then you can actually make use of this option. Seams basically are when you actually use UVs, so I don't think there's any point to actually explain it easily to you guys, so I'll just skip this for now. And the sharp option basically lets you keep sharp edges. As you can see that if I click on shade auto smooth, you can see that this has been smoothened out, but this is still sharp. So you can click on sharp so that when you apply the modifier, it actually sharpens those edges permanently. So the material index is to actually make sure that currently your material, this is the first material. If you add over here and add another material, now this is your second material, but it's in blended listing system, this is called material 1 and this is called material 0. So that's how you basically tell which material to use it. But again, you're probably not going to be using this option. And if I just change this to again angle, and I'll just or maybe we'll just keep the vertex group on. You can actually change the other option. The profile could be super elliptical. This is actually the default setting. Again, if I start moving this over here, it can actually reverse the bevel, if you can see that over here. And if I start to increase it from 0.1, it actually takes it back to outside. So I think 0.5 is currently and for now good, but again if you want to make an opposite bevel sort of like this, so you can obviously do that from the bevel modifier as well. Then there's the custom bevel profile. If I go over here, and for now it's going to be mostly ignoring this option, but it still is going to be considering the segments one. So if I go over here and I click over here and I'll add a point and then drag it over, and as you can see that it's forming one over here. I'll just lower it for now. As you can see that now it's sort of blocky. So if you want to add more points and make really cool shapes. Again, I did show you guys how to do this in the bevel option tool. So you have to increase the segments over here to actually get that smooth sort of look. You can change the handle types, as you can see over here. This is the one handle, there's another handle. You can change this type to sharp, maybe the free handle type to actually manipulate it even more freely, or the circular one to get a circular shape, sort of smooth one, or you can just keep the default one if you want to. And again, remember, if you have worked with Illustrator or something like that, that tool is really helpful. And if you want to add more points, you can click on anywhere over here on the black line to add a new point, and as you can see that it's still working over here. So again, you can obviously play around with these values as well. It actually really depends on sort of niche values. As you can see, even if I am changing them, they're mostly not adding or subtracting anything, but you can again use them. They are here for a reason. So I hope you guys learned something today. This was my Bevel Modifier tutorial, so please leave a like and a comment, and I see you in the next video. Bye. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like, comment and subscribe to my channel and watch another one of my videos, as that's how the YouTube algorithm works. It's a small channel and it won't cost you anything. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.